Hello and welcome to the Kayden Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Katherine Norland. Katherine, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing fantastic as well. So, kind of tell a little bit about yourself to everyone to get started.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know me, which I'm sure most people don't, um, I am an actress and an author of 3 books, an encouragement coach, online course creator, a wife, and a mom of 2 boys.
That's definitely a lot. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's always moving, always moving. I didn't know if you wanted more details, but that's the overarching.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely going, that's for sure.
Mhm.
So, how did you get started acting?
Um, I'm probably not going to count the plays I did in grade school. So
Mhm.
I was actually um, in my early 20s, and I was
Mhm.
going to school to become um, a pastor. I thought I was going to grow
Oh,
up and be
okay.
a pastor or a minister. And then I just felt this overwhelming urge to become an actor. Kind of came out of nowhere. I kept hearing this little voice telling me to do it. And I thought, that's crazy. Why would I do that? I was not even in a play in high school. I think I tried out for one, but I didn't even get a part. So I thought that's a really crazy idea. Why would I do that? But I just couldn't, the voice wouldn't shut off. So I just started driving to Minneapolis to take acting classes, 90 miles each way,
Oh, wow.
while working 2 jobs. And I was up in Minneapolis 2 or 3 days a week doing that. And eventually I decided to make the big leap to Hollywood. So I packed up my car and drove on over here. And 6 hours after I drove into town from Minnesota, I had my first audition, and I've had probably 800 auditions since and have been in over 150 projects. I was
Oh,
a
wow.
co-star in an episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
Mhm.
I've worked with Corin Nemec from Parker Lewis Can't Lose. I was in 2 episodes on a BET show called Beauty and the Baller. I've worked with excuse me, I've worked with Martin Cove from Rambo and Karate Kid, and
Mhm.
I've been in 150 film projects. And I'm currently a series regular on a pretty popular YouTube show called Jarman, which has
Mhm.
been viewed more than his content's been viewed more than 30 billion times. So
Mhm.
it's quite popular amongst certain segments of people.
It is definitely, and that's actually how I found you was for Jarman.
Mm.
So that's how I discovered you and what you do, and so I started researching you a little more, and I'm like, I think that should be awesome to have as a guest. So
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the books that you wrote.
Well, back in the days when I either
Hmm.
want to or couldn't afford psychology,
Hmm.
I used to just write down all my feelings, and I had one mentor that I trusted, and I let him read my poems because that's how I would express myself. And
Hmm.
he's like, these have to be published. These
Hmm.
people need to read these. These are so good. So it spurred my series of um, poetic prescriptions for pesky problems is the
Hmm.
first book I wrote. I just put out the second edition. My second book, Poetic Prescriptions for Eternal Youth, and then my third book, Poetic Prescriptions for Plaguing Problems, biblical remedies for when life bites. So it's basically like whatever problems and
Hmm.
areas of your life you're struggling with and can't find an answer. I like to say I prescribe poetry instead of
Hmm.
pills to cure your emotional and spiritual ills. So it's kind of like a fun, quirky way to get life advice. It's entertaining, but it also at the end, you feel like you feel better. At least that's what I'm told.
Hmm.
People are telling me, finally someone can relate, or finally someone can articulate these feelings I've had deep down in my heart that I didn't know how to express. So it's been pleasurable. And this year, God willing, I'm going to be writing a memoir which
Oh.
I've never done. That's a big
Mhm.
undertaking. It's something I've been thinking about doing for over a
Mhm.
decade.
Mhm.
Talking about the 118 days I spent in the neonatal intensive care unit fighting for my son's life when he was
Mhm.
surprisingly born 4 months early. So that was where I really had my faith tested in the fire during
Mhm.
that time.
Yeah, that I definitely see that and how that, kind of affects here.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So if you could act with anyone, whether you've acted with them before or acted with them now, who would it be and why?
If I could act with anyone, you know, there's so many people I would love to act with. Um, Gosh, well, some of them have already passed away, so we won't
Mhm.
name them. Like Denzel Washington, Charlize Theron,
Mhm.
um, David Morris. Oh, but I have to get into the why. So why?
Mhm.
I could name like so many people. Jennifer Garner is pretty high on the list too.
Mhm.
I would love to have her career. Um, well, you know, I really admire Denzel's work and Charlize, probably for the same reasons. Some of their acting choices and roles and how they've kind of carved out their career um, against stereotypes, especially Charlize and um, Denzel. Both had kind of limiting glass ceilings for
Mhm.
themselves in a way. Um, being a black man is limiting in some ways. At least it used to be. Hopefully, it's not as bad anymore. I don't. I hope so. I don't know because I'm not in walking in those shoes. But the roles he chose really, I think, elevated him. And he has spoken a lot about what you choose early on is going to determine where people see you and where you go. So he was very strategic. Also, Charlize, because she was a model and
Mhm.
very gorgeous and whatever, I think the things that she was offered and stuff all was, fitting this certain stereotype. And then she decided, I'm going to break out of this, and she did that film Monster and different choices she made to kind of go against the grain of how
Mhm.
she was seen to show her chops. I really like that. I think we'll just stick with those two examples.
Yeah, those two are good. You answered my question, so that works.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So, what advice would you give someone who might want to get into acting, but they just don't know really how to get started?
Well, ironically enough, I made a video on my YouTube channel called How to Start an Acting Career. So if you have 13, just look up Katherine Norland, How to Start an Acting Career, because I talk exactly about all the steps I
Mhm.
would take if I were to have to start over. But to give you a
Yeah.
little truncated version, um, know why you're doing it. Why
Mhm.
is it important to you? Because it's going to get hard. And when it gets
Mhm.
hard, you need to keep remembering why you want to do this. Um, but I would start just getting comfortable
Mhm.
on film, getting comfortable seeing yourself being played back. Some people don't even want to watch themselves on screen, can't stand the sound of their voice. It's very hard for you to develop your skills if you don't want to see yourself on film and are afraid to. So get together with your friends
Mhm.
every weekend, read scripts together, film yourself doing roles, get comfortable seeing what you look like. I would do that. And if you can afford to join a class,
Mhm.
great. But I would get started just filming yourself and getting together with your friends and putting together little short films. And when you really feel good and comfortable and you're not nervous anymore, only then would I start looking to audition. And of course, there's a whole set of things you need to do to get ready for auditions
Mhm.
besides, having your headshot and resume and all of that. But that's where I would start. Make sure you feel comfortable in front of camera and that you're believable and get some feedback from, I don't know, hopefully someone who will give you real legitimate advice, who either knows what they're doing or somebody that you can trust to give you an honest answer.
I agree with that. And a lot of the questions I was going to ask you, you already, I could tell they were covered on her YouTube, your YouTube. And I'm like, wow, she's got a lot of videos on there that answers a lot of people's questions. And I think that's amazing. And you're so positive and it's awesome. I think that's
Oh, thank
awesome.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can tell that you put your time into it. And I can tell that you know, really genuinely care. So.
Thank you. That's the high compliment.
Oh, well, you're welcome. You're very, very welcome. So do you have any upcoming projects that we can look forward to? Anything going on, especially with Jarman or anything like that?
Well, I have one coming out maybe in the next week or two that I am really excited about. It's I worked with this lovely, lovely young woman with Down syndrome, and it's
Oh, awesome.
about a Down syndrome model who gets turned down and told
Mhm.
she can't become a model. And that one was really like, oh, that one really tore at my heart. I'm excited about that one. Also, big news. I just shot my first Darman video with my son, who is special needs.
Oh, wow.
So he's got a tiny little cameo part in a project coming up about an artist with Down syndrome. Or no, sorry, Down syndrome. This Parkinson's. So for some reason they've been giving a few special needs
Yeah.
episodes. I guess because they know,
Mhm.
you know, close to my heart.
Mhm. I agree as well. You know, I do things in the special needs community too. I try to help as well. So I'm also autistic. So
I did
it's
not
really
know
close to my
that.
heart.
I
Yeah,
mean,
not a lot of people know that. So.
I also have, well, one of my films is being shown in a film
Mhm.
festival this week.
Oh my
Um,
God.
called the Protege Project. It's being played at the TLC Grumman's Man's Chinese Theater. I don't know, they keep changing the name, but that you know,
Mhm.
it's playing there this Saturday. There's a red carpet event.
Mhm.
And in April, third week of April, I'm going to the Las Vegas Black Film Festival because my other
Oh.
film, The Sins, is playing there. And I just got asked to play
Mhm.
the lead role in a feature film. I don't know the details yet because I haven't seen the script, so I can't tell you anything about it. But
Mhm.
but it's about volleyball.
Well, there's a start.
Yep.
Hi guys, I'm gonna be in a film about volleyball. They're like, okay, what else? I don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know sports.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I know
Very,
that
very awesome.
I'm gonna be playing a coach, so I'm probably gonna be pretty hard on the kid.
Mhm. And some of the videos, I noticed that you're like very calm, collective, and then some of them you can be. "Rah, rah, rah." I don't even know how to word it. Like you can be hard on them, and you know, it's funny, but also you know, life changing at the same time. You know, so.
Oh, are you talking about the Jarman videos?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it depends on the role I get,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Depends on what they cast
Depends.
me
Definitely
and
depends.
how how I see the character as being. And sometimes it's big broad characters. I think it was
Hmm.
a article they interviewed Jarman in for the
Hmm.
New York Times or something like that.
Wow. Wow.
They talked about how his characters are, I don't think the word was a stereotype or a caricature, or they're something that gives you a big idea of who this person
Hmm.
is without having to explain a lot. I can't remember what it was. So it a lot of times because they were so short, they were five
Hmm.
minutes. When I started, the videos were 3 to 5 minutes. Then they got up to 10 minutes. Now they're becoming 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But initially, you had such little time to portray what you needed to get across that there wasn't time for character arcs and having this person
Mhm.
go through this wide range of emotions. You just needed to get across immediately. So some
Right.
of kind of big and bold and over the top, but it also works for the audience,
Mhm.
as in
Mhm.
a lot of people maybe don't understand if they're not an actor is the different ways you act depending on the venue, depending on where it's going to be seen. How you act for YouTube on
Mhm.
watching on a small phone is going to be different than how you act for a big screen in a movie theater, which is going to be different
Right.
than
Mhm.
how you act for an audience. And even TV is
Mhm.
different genres. Are you acting in a comedy or are you acting in a
Mhm.
drama? And
Mhm.
even if you're acting in a comedy
Mhm.
dramedy like The
Mhm.
Office, the acting is going to
It's
be very,
different.
very deadpan,
Mhm.
as opposed to if you get a role on a Nickelodeon show.
Right. Mhm.
A lot of people don't realize you have to kind of do your performance based on what the venue is.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at, and especially what character you're playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How the scripts run, like, how the script and the writers and everything sit down and how they imagine it. That's how they want you to play it. So,
Yeah,
mhm.
exactly.
Catherine, is there anything that I forgot that you like to share?
Oh, are we already out of questions? That was fast. Um, I am most excited that I have my online course launching the end of April,
Oh.
April 29th. And I spent years of my life putting together this content. It took me a couple years to write it and a year to film it and a year to edit it. And
Mhm.
it's called You Are Worthy. And it's for anyone who struggles with like self-worth issues and not seeing themselves in a positive light. I
Mhm.
really break down how to see yourself correctly so that you have the courage and the confidence to go after your dreams. And I am holding like a webinar, a free webinar for anyone who wants to find out more about it. But it's if anyone wants to check out my You Are Worthy online course to help develop your
Mhm.
self-esteem and self-worth, it's if you just go to katherinenorland.com/ You Are Worthy, which is the name of the course,
Mhm.
you can find out how to sign up for it. And if your guests want a free copy of this book of mine, you can go just download it by going to Poetic Prescriptions, just like it says, Poetic Prescriptions
Mhm.
/ free book. So I want to give all your audience a copy of that book.
Yes, definitely check out Catherine's book. I gotta check it out myself. I gotta get a copy. I want a copy so bad. So that's good to know. It's good to know.
Yes. Awesome. So anything else you wanted? That was all the questions? Or we like that was fast.
Sometimes they're quick and sometimes they're not. But again, I would like to thank Catherine Norland for joining us right here on the Kayden Room Show
Aw,
today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate you coming on here today.
thank you so much. Have a great day.